Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What if the greatest gift you could leave your family wasn't money or belongings, but clarity? I'm Tracy Cram Perkins, and our show today is Dementia Home Care. I'm a 4-time dementia caregiving survivor and the author of Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Joining me today is Lori Kalec from the Neptune Society. We will be discussing how to create that clarity. Welcome, Lori.
Good morning, Tracy. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you joining me today, and I would like to know, how did you get into this line of work?
Well, good question. I never visioned myself in the funeral industry, but I couldn't imagine anywhere else. I had dedicated myself to a company for 30 years, nearly 30 years, 28 great ones. Some things were changing in my personal life, family needing care. And one can only be spread so thin. So it was time to take care of family and then figure out what's next. And I was fortunate enough to land in Neptune. Sadly, it was to collect loved ones' ashes and utilize their Neptune plan. But it introduced me to the gift that was given to me by my family. And I have given the opportunity to help others not be caught off guard and live in a nightmare on one of the worst days of their life. So I am so blessed to have the opportunity to help people with this piece of their end of life planning.
So that makes me think about this. What usually happens to people when they come to you?
It's all over the place. They anybody has reached out to Neptune, they've taken maybe the second or third step of this responsibility. They've been brave enough to be aware death is happening. It's happening to every single one of us. We don't know when, where, how, but it's going to happen. And we start thinking about, well, what's going to happen to my body? What are my wishes? What do I want? And then they reach out. Cremation is one of the probably top choices that we have available to us on how we take care of our bodies after death. And cremation is the service that Neptune offers. So they reach out to learn about our services. How do they take care of that? And so sometimes an event in their life has prompted this, or they're working with their attorney on different other end of life planning. And the question comes up, what about your body? Assets are easy to think about. I wouldn't say easy, but easier to think about. But our body is first. So, but it's usually the last responsibility people take care of. So they're all over the place. We've been thinking about this for years. We just need to do it. Gosh, our parents and grandparents had Neptune. We want to take care of this too. Or I don't have idea where to begin. Help me. And so even though the common need is there, the experience is different.
So people are probably coming to you a little terrified, mystified. What is it people don't understand about pre-planning?
That they can do it sometimes. A lot of times they think, well, my family knows I want to be cremated and it's done. And that's a good start. You've had the conversation, but they don't understand or realize all the details that go into it and what they're actually relieving their family from. So I would say fear kind of is a feeling that comes into it, because it's gives them the taste of reality that this life will end at some time. Relief is usually what they come away with, relief and peace, that their choices and clarity are going to be given. Oftentimes I share with my families, this part might be have been scary to, invite a stranger to your home or invite a stranger to these personal, deep feelings and thoughts. But afterwards, my hope is that they feel a sense of peace. They walk away with far more knowledge than they had when they came in. And they do. They're thankful. They're surprised at how much goes into it and how easy, and that's not a term that many people think that about death, but it's easy and simple to be able to take this responsibility on. It truly is your choice. It is your responsibility. It's nobody else's. And there's no perfect age to do this. There's, of course, you have to be at an age that you're able to make your own decisions. You're not relying on your parents to do that for you. But, oftentimes people are like, gosh, well, we're 80. Should we have done this sooner? And you do it when you're ready. Sometimes you need a gentle nudge, but you do it when you're ready and you feel a sense of relief and peace afterwards. And the conversations that come after you made that decision and put your plan in place are far less uncomfortable. And it becomes something that's easier for your family to talk about, because it truly is a gift that you've given the people you're leaving behind.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier about, cremation was just one option. What types of options are available for people?
The traditional burial, where you are embalmed, your full body is placed in a casket and you are placed in a cemetery. Cremation, it allows you to take up less room. You can also be put in a cemetery. There's aquamation, composting. There's like some areas in our country recognize, I'm sorry, I don't know the technical term, but planting naturally as a tree, which cremation will allow you to do as well. And it really nourishes the growth of whatever you're choosing to plant. But cremation is probably the most chosen option, the most acceptable. Composting isn't even recognized everywhere, so it's a little bit more difficult to truly pre-plan that, because when you're pre-planning, you have to be available for a funeral home to be able to get you to them to care for you as how you've authorized them to. And if you have passed away somewhere that does not offer the method that you have chosen, like composting, then your family's struggling to get you back to where that is legal and is recognized to do. So a lot of times, I think, Tracy, to your point earlier, you had asked, well, what do people, come away with? I think a lot of people don't realize, oh, well, maybe I would die away from home. I think, myself included, naturally we think, oh, well, we'll die in a hospital, or we'll be at home because, we've either been ill and hospice is involved, or we just don't wake up, which I would say that's in a lot of cases, that's how death occurs. But everyday life, where we drive, right? You could die that way. You just don't know where you'll be. So the transportation piece to get your body into the care, to the funeral home you've trusted to do that, is huge. And that Neptune's able to provide our services no matter where death occurs. So that is something that I would encourage folks, no matter what type of method you're choosing for yourself or what service provider or funeral home you're choosing, ask that question. What if I'm not at home? What if I'm not in the hospital? Then how can you help me? Because unless you're imminent, You don't know. You are truly pre-planning, just like your other pieces for your assets. You're pre-planning there, of what your wishes are.
Okay, you just made me think of something else because of that. People, a lot of people nowadays they're spending their golden years instead of in a retirement community on cruise ships. And so
Absolutely.
they are living on cruise ships and they just go from one cruise to the next, living on the cruise ships. What is available for those people?
With Neptune Society, I can speak to us. I'm not sure about other funeral homes. We do have a feature that makes your plan portable. So we go along on that cruise with you. We equip you with identification cards to carry with you. I always encourage my families, brag to everyone that you've got this responsibility taken care of. So if you are on a cruise ship, if you are on that European vacation, or maybe you're traveling across country here in our beautiful US, we're going with you. And we don't even take up much room in your suitcase. We just have your membership card in your wallet. And if something should happen and death occurs when you are away from home, it's still just a phone call and you already did all the work. Your family could be on a vacation on the other side of the globe, not with you, and they don't have to scramble and wonder, oh my gosh, what do we do? You call the number that you were given from Neptune when you need us. Anybody can call. You've already done the work. It is simple. Your family doesn't have to, stress out, race home. They should have the comfort in knowing it's exactly what mom said. It's one phone call and she's provided you peace of mind as well because she's given you that clarity. You've got a real people at Neptune at all levels, brick and mortar to walk into at any time. Your family can ask because, a lot of pre-planning decades in advance. And it's like, okay, great. I've got my card in my wallet, but it's been like 10 or 15 years. Let's recap. What are we doing? And it's the same thing. You've got real people to call that'll go through and refresh you and your family on the gift. Here's the phone number. Here's what it will happen. We'll take you into our care. And so we're going with you on your trip. Or if you needed to move. Not everybody, these days, decades ago, families didn't move as much as people do now. Life can be portable all the time. You could be on the cruise ship and working from home, right? So you can move. You don't have to stay in the home you lived in when you put your plan in place. If you have that feature in your plan that says, I want to go where I want and I want to do what I want. I'm still living. I'm just pre-planning. So we would be able to help on the cruise ship and brag, because I would definitely tell the people you're traveling with that you have Neptune. You have a pre-plan in place that if something happens, just call. They don't have to worry. It's taken care of.
All right. So thinking about that whole aspect, what usually catches most families off guard?
At the time of death is, especially if somebody wasn't ill and it was, a tragedy, what do we do? I would say off guard is if they've pre-planned, there shouldn't be anything off guard. For a moment, they might. Someone in that group is going to go, oh, yeah, Neptune, get the card out. It's Neptune. If they've graduated and are in a retirement community, absolutely, as you help your parents or your loved ones navigate through that piece of end of life, make sure that their community knows, hey, we've got Neptune. So that if something happens there, they're calling Neptune, not whoever's on their rotation for that day. It's Neptune. There shouldn't be too much caught off guard, Trace, if they've pre-planned. And not only pre-planning is your responsibility, but communicating to the people that are going to be working with Neptune, the village you've put in front of us that you've authorized us to talk to. That's another piece, because if you don't pre-plan, then you are leaving that you would hope that it's your best friend, or, oh, well, Sally Mae knows this. She's my cousin. We're like sisters. But you have siblings they're now the ones that are in charge, and you may not have spoken to them for years or something. This way you control your wishes and you give that clarity of what your wishes are. So your responsibility goes beyond putting things in place. You get to brag, and you may, during your bragging and your sharing of knowledge and letting your family and friends know, you're helping them start becoming brave enough to think about, well, what do I got in place? Look at Lori's got her act together. What am I doing? So it's kind of like, you get a new car. Oh gosh, they got a new car. I like that new car. We sure need a new car. How'd you get that car? It's spread the word. Help your friends and family think about this responsibility on their end as well.
So I'm going to circle back to something you said. Are you saying that when somebody does their pre-planning, then they are given enough cards to share with everyone, or are they? How is it that they are notifying people that they'll have Neptune's phone number?
Well, when you're putting your plan in place with Neptune, we need a couple of the people that you are authorizing us to release ashes to. And you're also getting, which many times are the same people that are labeled as your informants. Those are the people that likely will be calling us, or that we will be they're our point person. That director at the time of need needs to talk to somebody. We need to get the death certificate to them. Some families would like to have some time with their loved one before cremation occurs. Our veterans, we help coordinate those benefits. So we provide 2 cards out the gate. You get temporary cards, then you get permanent cards that look a lot like your Costco or a credit card that fit nicely in your wallet. If you needed more, it's a call to our administrative team. They'll order more. We really provide for the people that are on your list that we're going to be talking to that likely would call us if they were in this, a nurse could call us. Anyone can call us. But if they need more cards, or if theirs gets lost or broken, it's just a call and we can get those replaced. But I encourage my families to let their doctors know, so it's in their medical records. Just brag. It's easy to brag about that, or out of the curiosity of, maybe you've got a friend that has a loved one who has recently been diagnosed, or you're working with them to get into a retirement community or dementia. We'll talk about that too, Tracy, because there is a piece that would be absent for those of our loved ones who are suffering from dementia, where they can't authorize, but you can still put everything in place. So you could still have the logistics taken care of, the financial piece, so you've got that taken care of, but the authorization would then come, at least in the state of Washington, I can't speak of the whole globe, of your next of kin would be authorizing at that time, because a POA can't do this. It's an individual that can authorize their cremation while you're still alive. And a lot of people say, oh, my will says I'm going to be cremated. Great. That's a great place to have that referenced, and you can put in there as clarity as you want. But oftentimes your will is not even visited until well after death has occurred. And death has occurred, we've got to take care of that body. You have to get a death certificate to even start thinking about doing anything about a will or a trust. So it is a lot of that goes into it. I've had people comment, this is like buying a house, or, how much paperwork is there? We have come into the 21st century. We're able to do things remotely and electronically, but we still have families that do like the paper and don't have technology as part of their life. So we can absolutely, accommodate that as well.
Thank you. Okay, stay with us. After the break, we will continue our conversation with Lori about creating clarity for our loved ones.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Lori, before the break, we were discussing why the will may not be the best place to start with for notifying everyone they want to be cremated. And you were talking about having the cards and who's a designated person. Can you give us a little more information on that?
Absolutely. So when you're pre-arranging, you're not going to be there when the service is there. The service is for you. So as you prepare and think about who do you want to be in that seat to talk to Neptune? Who do you want to receive the death certificate? Who do you want to receive the ashes if you're not allowing us privilege to either scatter your ashes or work with the veterans to your benefits for a cemetery placement, burial at sea, or a placement in a personal private cemetery. I should say private cemetery, not a personal one. I don't know how many people own their own cemetery, but those kind of decisions need to be made, because then you are really giving clarity to those key people that we're going to be working with. So releasing ashes to someone, that person is going to see through what your wishes are for those ashes. Maybe you have a favorite tree you'd like to plant in your yard or in a patio, or maybe here in Washington State, scattering from a ferry, working with the ferry and getting the permits, to do that through them. Your family and friends could be present for that scattering. You're thinking about the people that are going to be able to do those, if that's what your wishes are, is to have your ashes scattered. Neptune can help with that. Or if you have individuals that are going to be able to do that and see through, those are the people that you are giving clarity to. You're having those conversations with over the years, and you're giving Neptune the authority to say, these are my people. You have authority to get these ashes to them. You can mail them to them. They can come in and get them. They may be the same people that are getting the death certificate and that are going to be working with that director directly. But this is the people that you're going to give that clarity to. And they don't have to be family. They could be your best friend. They could be your cousin. They could be your neighbor. It just needs to be somebody that you trust, who is over 18, who is sound mind, that is willing to do this for you and accept those ashes. And maybe they're the ones that are going to take you to that family plot in Oklahoma and have a ceremony there. Neptune's even will get the documents that they can fly with you to Oklahoma. So you don't get the frequent flyer miles, but they will. But it is another layer of you taking control of this responsibility and choosing the people that truly need the clarity of what your wishes are. That's who you would probably give your cards to and equip them with that. And they're the ones that are having the conversations ongoing with you or as needed.
Okay, you made me think of a bunch of stuff now. Everything you're talking about costs money. So how are people funding this?
A lot of people wait for a tax return, or they use a credit card. Neptune has funding available where they have payments. They can say, you know what, I'm ready to do this. I don't have all the money now. We can explore different payment options that they're eligible for. It does not, some people have those savings accounts through your employer for healthcare. It does not qualify for that. But some people are also spending their money. They need to spend their money because they're spending down for medical care. They don't have enough of their own money to take care of the medical needs, but they have too much to get any aid. So this is something that a lot of people will purchase because they know they need it. They didn't pre-plan ahead, and it's able to be a good purchase for a spend down. But you don't have to be, a lot of people like, I don't have that kind of money. The cost varies across the nation, but it is more affordable than one would believe. This is the journey that's going to be one of your questions when you reach out to wherever you're going to pre-plan to, is how much is this going to cost me? Are you going to guarantee this cost? How do I know you're going to be there? How do I pay for this? So, there's so many protections for consumers in the funeral industry. Feel confident that your money is protected, or at least make sure whoever you're talking to can solidly give you how to protect your money until you need it. But credit cards, you get your points or miles or money back on that. Checks, there's payment plans, at least with Neptune. I can't speak to them all, but to keep in mind, in most cases, funeral homes are not going to cremate until payment in full. So pre-planning is giving you the chance to not make your family create a GoFundMe, max out their credit cards, come up with money that they don't have or they're not ready to shell out. You've done that. And many times they're like, oh, there'll be enough money. We have life insurance, or there's enough money in the estate. Well, maybe that day there is, but everything costs money. What if something happens where that you have to spend down and something medically happened, or you don't have that money? Plus, usually you can't get to that money that you're referring to your family to pay for this until death has occurred and a death certificate is available. Well, part of cremation and the services from Neptune is a death certificate, but we need to be paid, so that somebody's fronting the money or coming up with it, and maybe no money to reimburse. So there's lots of different ways. Please don't think that I can't afford this right now and make it so you are delaying this responsibility, because the only thing that's happening is you're going to have to continue to save more money because prices change. But once you have pre-planned and secured your Neptune plan, you know exactly what this is costing. It isn't anymore. So it could be 25 years from when you put your plan in place, and it's still costing you the same. So rather than trying to save all the money at once, I would encourage to explore the payment options that would be available to you.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to the 18-year-olds. You said if somebody was old enough to take care of themselves, how likely is it for an 18-year-old to come in and start pre-planning? And what does that conversation look like?
I have never experienced an 18-year-old, but they absolutely can. If their parents or grandparents already have a Neptune plan, there would be no need for them to have their own plan, because our plans extend coverage to children and grandkids. So 18, I use that as an example, Tracy, because they have to be of age to accept ashes. So that I would say in my own personal experience of the families that I've helped, Tracy, 32 years old was my youngest. 104 has been my oldest, and everything in between. So I encourage those who have started this journey, have realized, you know what, cremation is what I want. Make that phone call, make that contact to hopefully you choose Neptune to at least be one of the service providers, funeral homes you reach out to, and learn, gain the knowledge. See, you might think of, oh my gosh, I never even thought of my friend having to get a permit to scatter me in our favorite hiking place.
Lori, I think we lost you. Well, one of the questions I was going to ask her next was, how do we coach people? Because I think that's one of the things that I'm curious about is, what do I do for pre-planning? I know within my own family, my parents did pre-plan, but they didn't have the conversation with us, and we had no clue until after my mom had passed and my dad was all the way into Alzheimer's disease. He told us they had no preparation. And when he was hospitalized and we were cleaning out his apartment, that's when we found all of their documents. So I can't express how difficult it is for the family if we don't have that conversation. As we were talking about earlier, it is the gift of clarity. And if you, for whatever reason, don't choose to share that with your family, you're going to leave them scrambling. What happens when you've got two children or family members that don't agree because they have different experiences with you and they don't know what you want? The gift you can give them is sitting down and talking to them and saying, these are what I want. This is what I would like to have happen, so that you don't leave people fighting amongst themselves and having hurt feelings and not talking to each other. It's a very difficult situation to be in, and one that I wouldn't wish on anybody else. The problem with not pre-planning is, what happens if you don't have the money to pay for these things? Are you then responsible because you are the next of kin? It's having these things in place so that you can prepare for the unforeseen. We talked about people that were traveling. With Lori's plan, she was talking about with Neptune, they actually can ship the remains back to wherever the family is going to be taking care of them. I know people that have passed on cruise ships, which is why I asked that question earlier, and they had to wait until they got to the next, return the last port before they could send them on, and the cost was astronomical. So I can't stress enough how much or how important it is to pre-plan for these things and to just make the gift of clarity, of talking to your family, of sharing the information. It's a gift of love. So while we're waiting for Lori to come back, I just want to share some other information with you. Soon, I will be working on a program called Hardware for Soft Care. It is a program where I am going to be having educational information to teach people how to make their home more dementia friendly. What I'm going to do is take you on a tour through your living space and show you all the things as we see it and as our family members see it, as we're caring for them, so that we can understand and walk in their shoes so we know what to do when something is going wrong. For example, if your family member is hallucinating and they keep telling you something's there and you're looking at the room and you see nothing, well, perhaps it's because a shadow or some glare or something like that happens, and we ignore it because we perceive it, where our loved one, because their lenses are thickening their eyes, they need more lighting for contrast, they have they're losing their depth perception, whatever's going on, they can't see what and explain to us what they're seeing, other than maybe they're seeing snakes coming at them or they're seeing a person coming at them, and it's terrifying. Or perhaps they are getting lost in their own home, or they can't find the bathroom. It's using things and tools in the hardware store, at home. And welcome back, Lori.
Thank you. Hi.
Oh.
Oh, I did want to also share, Tracy, you had talked about communicating and sharing the gift of clarity and the gift of pre-planning. I do my best to have a packet for my families that I've have allowed me the privilege to help them with the Neptune plan. And I encourage them, a lot of times people are like, well, my family might want to, see me before cremation occurs. Typically, we think of a viewing on a traditional burial, but Neptune's really done a good job where we listen to our families. We've tried to incorporate additional services of what they want at the time of need. So a very intimate viewing per se, or a time for some closure and goodbye is available when cremation is chosen. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so many of my families are like, well, Lori, we're going to have to ask our kids about that. I'm like, please don't. We have ways of being able to incorporate that into the plan to more present it. So I encourage, present this gift to your kids, have those cards for them, open up that conversation. You've already made the decision. It's not their decision to make. That's one thing, probably the number one thing people do is, I don't want to leave this to my kids, or I don't want to leave this to my spouse. I don't want to leave this to my siblings. So they pre-plan. So then you just present the gift. You're not asking them, hey, what do you think? Do you think I should be cremated? Or what do you think? Of course, it's something that you might get your spouse or your partner or even your kids input on what they might think, but ultimately it's your decision. So present that. You present the gift, you present the cards. It opens up easier conversation, and maybe then they'll say, well, gosh, Mom, you've chosen cremation. What if I not here when you die? I want to be able to see you. Can we see you? And they start panicking, and you're like, of course you can. We've got that in our plan too. If you'd like that, it's there. They have never lost you before, so they have no idea how they're going to feel. They may be feeling different. They may have lost their grandma, but that's different than losing your mom. Every loss is different. It's, at least in my experience, of the relationship that you had with that person. You're going to grieve everyone, but you have a different seat in each person's life. So you have tools to show them the gift. I've had families are like, we're going to get a Neptune plan, and this is our kids' Christmas present to them. Your shopping's done. They get instead of a gift card, they get a membership card. And they may not think it's that great of a gift right now, but the day that they need it, they will be not only grieving their parents, but thanking them, because they'll look at their friends who are losing, their parents, and I promise you, they will witness someone who hasn't pre-planned and the chaos that their loved ones go through. And they don't want that. So they're like, oh, we're going to call Neptune. Look how swift this went. So it is, gossip, brag. It is good gossip, because you're going to open up maybe someone who's frightened to find out about it. If they love and trust you, they're going to be brave enough to reach out. Just encourage them to whatever they choose. Just pre-arrange, pre-plan, because it's going to happen.
Oh, that is the best advice. Speaking from personal experience, that is the best advice. So we have about a minute left. Do you have any last little nuggets you'd like to share?
Well, I know most people have a to-do list. This is probably on your list. And if it's not, maybe you have goals to do something different than you normally would. It's an easy scratch off. If you just reach out, you can feel like, you know what? I feel really good about this. I'm more knowledgeable. I'm going to do this. Or you gain the knowledge to share with your loved one who you're ultimately going to be the one in the driver's seat if they don't do something, and ease that conversation in. If you gain the knowledge first, you not only are helping yourself for your own decisions and clarity, but then you can easily approach your loved one, and it's less scary for them. And I've helped a lot of families where we've approached it. We've come in and it's like, we need to do this for Mom. She's a little bit scared. It doesn't have to be scary. It could be baby steps along the way. But most of the time, once you've got the knowledge and you know what you want, the clarity is there. Move forward. Don't let a financial burden be it. To explore your payment options, explore what you might be able to afford a month. And just remember, if you don't do it, somebody else has this financial and emotional burden. It doesn't go away. It's there, and like everything else, the cost goes up. Prearranging at least with Neptune, you're locking the cost in and you know what it is. There's no guessing. There's no GoFundMe. There's no, oh, we've got to sell the car, or gosh, we can't make the mortgage or something to be able to take care of the loved one. Don't make them do that. Don't make them even have to contemplate that, because you have no idea what's going on in their life at that time. So take on the responsibility, scratch off your to-do list. It's an easy one to do.
Lori, thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. It's very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Tracy. It's important to me. I love what I do. I know I'm helping people as you are in what life brings us. And so I hope that what I've shared today encourages some for the next step in their planning, that they can take care of this or at least gain the knowledge.
Thank you. If this conversation moved you, visit the Dementia Home Care playlist for our episodes on YouTube channels, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck and USA Global TV. And I invite you to subscribe and explore our other programs. You will find my book, Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After on Amazon. You can reach me through my contact page at tracycramperkins.com. While there, sign up for my newsletter and receive your free copy of 10 Steps to Calming Aggressive Dementia Behavior. This is Dementia Home Care, balancing care with peace of mind.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.